Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vana Chari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Vaibhakacharya Astatirtha Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantagota Vaishnavini Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Maya Purnabhi Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Gau Premanandi. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, King Chittaketu's Lamentation, text number 2. Devanam Shudha Sadvanam Risinam Jhamarat Manam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayano Pajadyate Devanam Sudasadvanam Risinam Jhamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayeno Pajayate Devanam Sudasadvanam Risinam Jhamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayeno Pajayate Devanam Sudasadvanam Risinam Jhamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayeno Pajayate. Devanam Sudasadvanam Risinam Jhamalatmanam Bhakti Mukunda Charane Na Prayena Pajayate. Devanam Sudasattvanam Rishinam Javalatmanam Bhakti Mukunda Charane Naprayeno Pajayate Devanam Sudasattvanam Risinam Jamalatmanam Bhakti Mukunda Charane Naprayene Pajayate Devanam Sudasattvanam Risinam Jamalatmanam Bhakti Mukunda Charane Naprayene Pajayate Devanam of the demigods, Sudasattvanam, whose minds are purified, Risinam, of great saintly persons, Cha, and Amala Atmanam, who have purified their existence, Bhakti, and devotional service, Mukunda Charane, to the lotus feet of Mukunda, the Lord, who can give liberation. No, not. Prayena, almost always. Upajayate, develops. So there's no purport. I'll read the translation, then we'll go on to the next verse. Demigods situated in the mode of goodness and great saints, cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment, hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda. Therefore, how could Vritrasura have become such a great devotee? Text 3. In this material world, there are as many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, a very few are human beings. And among them, a few are interested in following religious principles. Text 4. O best of the Brahmanas, Sukadeva Goswami, out of many persons who follow religious principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. Among many thousands who desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation, giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. Purport. There are four classes of men, namely karmis, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. This statement pertains especially to karmis and jnanis. A karmi tries to be happy within this material world by changing from one body to another. His objective is bodily comfort, either in this planet or in another. When such a person becomes a jnani, however, he aspires to liberation from material bondage. Among many such persons who aspire for liberation, one may actually be liberated during his life. Such a person gives up his attachment for society, friendship, love, country, family, wife, and children. Among many such persons who are in the Vanaprastha stage, one may understand the value of becoming a sannyasi, completely accepting the renounced order of life. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksham Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotuvatalang Pangunang Hayate Grim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Sigurum Dinataranam Vanchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Bhavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also makes this statement, Manushyanam sahasresu kaschad yaditi siddhaye yadatam abhita siddhanam kaschima vedi tatvataha. That of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of many of those, hardly one knows me in truth. So this statement here that we just heard, this goes even a little deeper. So one may be a little discouraged. Well, how is it possible that I'm going to be liberated? It's so rare. But by the mercy of Krishna, it's possible. Anything's possible for Krishna, right? Narottam Das Thakur, he says, Hari Hari Vipade Janama Koina. He's lamenting that I've wasted this human form of life, having not served Radha and Krishna, and have willingly taken poison. Now, of course, Narottam Das Thakur, he's taken the very humble position. He's actually one of the greatest Vaishnavas that ever lived, but he's lamenting that he did not utilize the human form of life properly and willingly taken poison. So this is the position of the non-devotee. They're taking poison, thinking it's nectar. So we're going out and we're trying to tell people, please don't take that poison. It's not good. Not good. Not good for the health to take poison. So that people can experience real life, spiritual life. Why is it that it's so rare for people to be liberated, or for someone to take to Krishna consciousness? Because most people, unfortunately, are totally in the bodily conception of life. And so they're thinking they're their body, and to satisfy the senses, that's the goal of life. Everybody else is doing it, right? So, and therefore their future is very dark. Prabhupada says that seen in the darkness means not seeing anything. If you're in the pitch dark, you may have 20/20 vision, but you're not going to see anything, right? Because you're in darkness. But if one has light, if one has the light of Krishna consciousness, jnanena tutad ajnanam yesam nasanam atmanaha. When one is enlightened with knowledge by which ignorance is destroyed, that knowledge reveals everything. Just as the sun, when it rises, it reveals everything. So when we get this knowledge of Krishna, then we can see properly. Otherwise, we can't see. If someone is in passion and ignorance, also they can't see. They may hear very pure philosophy, but because they're covered by ignorance and passion, they can't understand. Just like Prabhupada gave the example of colored glasses. Someone might have some very dark glasses. Sometimes you see people with very dark sunglasses. So they're just, everything they're seeing is dark. Or sometimes you see people, they have red colored lenses, and everything they see is red. So when we're covered by ignorance, by passion, we can't see things clearly. It's unclear. So Krishna comes to clear our vision. Jnana chakshu. Jnana chakshu means seen with the eyes of knowledge. So we're getting this knowledge so that we could eventually be able to see everything properly. I was distributing books yesterday at the university there, Grossmont College, a nice university, book distribution. And this lady was complaining, that these professors, they're trying to shake people's faith in God. Yeah. Where's the proof? She was saying that the professors, where's the proof there's a God? Such rascals. Where's the proof there's no God? And whenever you see something so organized, there's an intelligence to it, intelligent design, just like the sun. For millions of years, it's rising and setting, the moon, the stars, everything is so, astronomy is just incredible. All this is not just by accident. There's some intelligence behind it. So I was telling her, don't be fooled by these fools. It's so sad, actually, all over the world, even in India also. So much atheism. Actually, Prabhupada, I was shocked. Even when Prabhupada was preaching in India, before he came to America, he said 80% of the population here is atheist. I couldn't believe that. Because they're also interested in sense gratification, not so much interested in satisfying the senses of Krishna or knowing Krishna, but satisfying their senses, bodily conception of life. So by taking to Krishna consciousness, one is able to clearly see that there is a God, and He's everywhere. Yomam evam asammudo janati puruso. That one who sees me everywhere and says everything in me is never lost to me, nor I am ever lost to him. It's interesting, I was just listening to a lecture, Prabhupada said, Krishna is everywhere, so is Maya. Not in the spiritual world. Krishna is everywhere here, also in the spiritual world, but Maya is not there. At least not Mahamaya. But Yoga Maya is there. So in one sense, you could say Maya is everywhere. There's Yoga Maya there. They're thinking Krishna's my friend, or he's my son. So this is also a type of, well, this is the Maya that we want. We want this Maya, not this Mahamaya. This Mahamaya is this, causing so much suffering. Nivartar ser upagiyamana pavosha tropana manobirama ka otamaslo gunanamava pamang virajeta vinapashugnat. That devotees of the Lord, they take great pleasure in hearing the activities of Krishna. They're not interested in the illusory so-called pleasures of this world. And this hearing about Krishna, this is a medicine that can cure the disease of materialism. And who would not take it? Who would not take it? Those who are killers of their own soul, or those who are killing animals. They can't understand. Killers of their own soul. Taking poison. Bisha means they're taking poison. Such a rare thing, the human form of life. And they're just absorbed in material life. Prabhupada gives the example of a wedding taking place. And this couple, they're going to go to a place and have the wedding. So they're going late in the evening. They're in a boat, and the boatman he's rowing the boat. And then they wake up, and they haven't moved. They haven't moved an inch. They leave at night, and you can't see the change in scenery. It's dark. And then when the couple wakes up, hey, we're still in the same place. What happened? He said, I don't know, I've been rowing all night long. What was the problem? The anchor. The anchor was still down. Couldn't go anywhere. So what is the anchor? The anchor that keeps us bound in this material world is this attachment to material enjoyment. This is what keeps us bound. This poison, what we're thinking, that there's some pleasure in this world. No, but Krishna's given us vision. He's given us vision. No, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time in this world, this illusory world, you won't find happiness here. But there is happiness. Like sometimes the atheists say, oh, you guys just using God as a crutch. You think you need God. Well, we need water, and water is there. We need food. Food is there. We need air. Air is there. We need God. God is there. Yeah, we need God. And He exists just as air and water and all these things, these food, everything that we need is there. And yet, we need God. But it's not... And someone would say, well, it's a crutch. Well, if you're lame, you need a crutch. In this world, people are lame. People are lame, bewildered. Consciousness is lame, crippled. The consciousness is crippled. So yeah, we need Krishna to help us. So much difficulty in this world. So much difficulty. People are suffering so much. It's like this verse. He says, I willingly took poison. And people do that every year. About, 40,000 people in the world. And I mean, just in America commit suicide. What does that mean? That means they're suffering. They're really suffering. And to do something like that is really suffering. There's one instance where a devotee was distributing books door to door. And he was knocking on the door, and there was no answer. But for some reason, he felt there was someone there, so he kept knocking. And finally a lady opened the door. She said, don't bother me, I'm busy. But as soon as she opened the door, he stuck his foot in between the door, so she couldn't close it. And then he handed her the Bhagavad Gita. Of course, this is India. He handed her the Bhagavad Gita, and when she saw the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita came just in time. She opened the door and she said, this is what I was busy doing. She was just getting ready to kill herself. She had the noose up there. She was standing on a chair, just getting ready to kill herself. And he came just in time. Knocked longer than he usually would, inspired by Krishna. So she said, oh, this is so wonderful. She said, this is God. God has come to me just at the perfect time. And of course gave a nice donation. And he preached to her. And she said, oh yes, this is not an accident. Krishna has come to me to help me. And this is what goes on all over the world. We're distributing millions and millions of books every year, about 9 million books every year. And some people are appreciating. Yesterday I was distributing, and for some reason I couldn't, we have all these devices now. There's about 10 different ways you can get donations now. So many different, Venmo and Apple Pay and this and that. So now they have these devices, and I couldn't, it was the first time I had used this device in a certain way, so we couldn't, it wouldn't work. And she was like, oh no, I can't get the books. And I told her, we can read all the books, actually, on this. We have Vedabase.com. We have this leaflet that we pass out. If they can't give a donation, I just tell them, well, here, you could read all the books right there. You spend your whole life just reading those books on that website. But she didn't get the books right then. So then she went away, and she was kind of lamenting. And then I figured it out. And I went looking for her. I couldn't find her. And then Krishna sent her back. And I said, hey, I figured it out. She said, really? She was so happy. She was so happy. I was like, wow, that's so nice. So people are happy. Many people are happy to get this knowledge. Yeah. It's understanding why, because we're giving people knowledge of the absolute truth, knowledge of the soul, knowledge of Krishna. Yeah. How to experience real love. Everybody wants love. Everybody wants to be loved and to love. Of course, most people want to be loved. Right? Yesterday I saw a shirt that said, "Love never fails." It's true. Love never fails. But lust fails every time. That should be added. Love never fails. Lust always fails. Real love is between the soul and Krishna. That's love. Admendra priti, Tony Balikam, Krishnendra priti icha dari premanam. That love means to satisfy the senses of Krishna. That's our definition of love. According to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is love. He's our Father, He's our friend, He's everything. So to satisfy the senses of Krishna, to satisfy His mind, to satisfy His, and offer things to Him, this is the pleasure of the soul. This is love. And lust is to satisfy our own senses. Just like there's so many relationships, but in these relationships, they're thinking of satisfying their own senses. They're not so much interested, a little bit in satisfying the other person's senses, but mostly it's about my senses. I remember reading something many years ago, I don't know, at the airport, reading a newspaper or something. And I read this article where this lady was telling her husband, "You're supposed to please me. You're supposed to please me." And he said, "Really? Was that in the fine print in our certificate there?" Yeah, I don't remember reading that. This is the mood. You're supposed to please me. This is what everybody's saying. You're supposed to please me. But in the relationship with Krishna, we're all about pleasing Krishna, not so much in ourselves, getting our senses gratified. Of course, Prabhupada said that the prasadam should be really good. It should be very good, because that's our only sense gratification. But the more we try to satisfy Krishna's senses, the more we become satisfied, we become happy. He said that the pujaris, they're decorating the deities so nicely. This means they're getting decorated. They're also getting decorated with good qualities also. So the more we please Krishna, the more we become satisfied. The more we try to satisfy our own senses, the more we experience frustration, dissatisfaction. And if we do this, if we satisfy the senses of Krishna, this means we become very healthy, spiritually healthy, and materially healthy. Prabhupada said, health is the most important thing. Spiritual and material health. You have to eat nicely and have good sadhana. He said, then, first health, then sadhana. Good sadhana, that helps us to be healthy. Then service. That order. First health. If we're not healthy, therefore Prabhupada would always answer, or he'd end his letters, "I hope this meets you in good health." Yeah. And Prabhupada, he helped so many devotees that have some health problem, because he worked with the medical field, and he would give guidance. And it's like I remember Hridayananda Maharaj, he was in Mayapur, and he was so sick. Devotees thought he was going to leave his body. He was so sick, and they told Prabhupada, Hridayananda Maharaj, he's very, very sick. And Prabhupada said, "Give him some tulsi water. Just put some tulsi in and have him drink that." And he did. Within a few hours, he was healthy. Of course, that was Prabhupada's miracle or something. But so health is so important. We have to take care of our health. Sadhana, we have to have good sadhana. Prabhupada said we should read at least a minimum on our own an hour a day or 2 hours. And one time he was in Mexico, and he said you should have classes 5 hours a day, like at a college. He said like that. He said, just like you study nectar devotion, then you have a 10-minute break, then you study Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 minutes, like in the university. Of course, he said that once. Of course, it'd be hard to do our preaching, but he said that. So, is there any questions or comments, anybody? Yeah.
Hi Krishna, thank you for this class.
Thank you.
I remember meeting a person a few days ago in the park. He told me I was so sick some time ago. It was my 5th time getting COVID. And
he told you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said I was so sick. I was just trying to find a solution, understand why this keeps happening to me. And then I showed him the books because he was kind of into meditation and everything like that. And he took quite a lot of books. And I told him at the end, well, I hope you have a good time. I hope you enjoy reading these books. And he said, well, don't even hesitate. Like, don't doubt this. I'm definitely going to enjoy reading these books. And another time, I met a person, and he said, life is such a struggle. I'm looking for all the possible help, all the possible solutions I could get my hands on. So he also got some books, and yeah, that's it. Yeah,
people are struggling. I mean, there's one in Balboa Park. Also, there's one very nice person. He said he had 3 jobs because his wife is not healthy. He's got to pay so much money to take care of the medical bills. But he said, I'm just constantly working. Yeah, don't even get enough sleep practically. But very nice person, took a few books. I said, well, I hope you find enough time to read the books. Maybe a while. But yeah, people, it's a struggle for existence, the material world.
One time I also met a lady in La Jolla, and she said, this is probably my first day in the month when I get a day off. I had 3 jobs. I'm working so much. And she also took some books.
Yeah. Just the way the society is now, they're just making it so difficult. Just like paying rent nowadays, especially here in Pacific Beach, it's ridiculous. $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, and people have to work so hard. You have a question?
Thank you for a wonderful class. You began by talking about people, they're enjoying their material body through their senses. They don't know any difference, and talking about darkness. It was making me think about this kind of line of what sort of happened to the jivas, and so I'm wondering if you were inspired to talk a little bit about this. Because began in the spiritual realm, we had purified consciousness, and we had spiritual bodies. But for some reason, we got this idea of enjoying separately from Krishna, even though we have a purified consciousness. And then we enter the material world through the false ego, right? The hard knot, ahankar. It's like, I was thinking of like an assembly line, and the packages are coming off, and they get shrink wrapped right before they go out. Like our pure soul gets wrapped into the material covering of false ego. And then we're here convinced that we're this body and that we're supposed to enjoy our senses. And we literally have to reconvince ourselves that our basic mode of operation is incorrect. We had a correct way of thinking. We descended. We were covered. Now you actually have to be convinced that the truth is the truth, because you don't have any direct experience of it. Direct experience, I am this body. I enjoy my senses. So that material covering made it otherwise, right? It like kind of convinced us of something that's not true. So we have to reconvince ourselves of the truth to then take a higher perspective. So
yeah, very good. Very good question. Now, if someone is going through their life in a smooth way, relatively, things are going nicely. It's like in Europe, there's not many theists because I'm okay. I don't need God. So it's actually a blessing for someone to go through difficulty, because then they start thinking, well, maybe there is something beyond what I'm experiencing here. Maybe there is a God, and maybe that's why I'm going through this suffering. There was one famous movie star one devotee was telling me, he said he was suffering so much, and he shouted out to God, "Why is it so difficult?" And then he felt the answer. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be difficult. Because then that's when we get the chance to wake up, when it's difficult. Yeah. And understand our natural position, our original position as servants of God. So difficulty is a real blessing, and therefore Krishna, he gives difficulty. Yeah. Difficulties coming from nature, from other living entities, from our own mind and body. So yeah, it's a blessing in disguise. But some people are stubborn. There's a lot of stubborn souls. They still think, no, let me give it another shot. And Prabhupada said like this. Sometimes people come and they practice for a while, then they kind of get their lives together. Well, let me give it another try. Let me give material life another try, and they do, and then of course they get burnt again. Prabhupada said that the yoga system, the Bhakti yoga system, is to forget all the nonsense that we've accumulated and remember Krishna, take to Krishna consciousness. So we're trying to forget all the Maya. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, forget the past that sleeps, nor the future dream at all. Live in times that are, with thee in progress thee shall call. And another beautiful poem, he says, the flesh is not my own, alas, the mortal frame a chain, the soul confined for former wrong should try to rise again. Beautiful. Forget the flesh is not my own, alas, the mortal frame a chain, the soul confined for former wrong should try to rise again. So this is what we're trying to do, rise again. Forget the past, forget the garbage, and just focus on the present, Krishna. Of course, we're also thinking of the future. We want to have a bright future in Krishna consciousness. That's okay. But a lot of people, they're thinking of the future, sense gratification, the mode of passion, right? Thinking ahead. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. And they can't live the present. Yes, Saul, Bhakta Saul Prabhu.
Okay. I just wanted to see if you could comment on this, the last point you mentioned about how Prabhupada, he emphasized, your health, sadhana, then the thing. I also had a comment, and I was reading this one past time, it was like, Prabhupada was like really sick, he had like a temperature of 104 or something, and then I think it was in India, and then the governor of, I think, Bengal wanted to go visit him.
Yeah.
So he made it a point to go, even like to see him and have a whole speech, like, and gave class, and then, after that, they put him back and he just collapsed. Yeah. So I was just trying to see how to find a good balance between, health and sadhana, like not to be overly absorbed in bodily comforts, as you could see, because that's what the text was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Even in devotional service, one could find that.
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, this is Prabhupada. I mean, he was so sick. Was it in India? This was in India, yeah. Some governor or some high position, some person in a very high position came to Vrindavan. And devotees said, Prabhupada, you're so ill, it wouldn't be good for your health. He said, no, I have duty. He has a big position, this person. So Prabhupada went, and devotees were amazed. He looked normal, and he spoke normal. It was like devotees were just shocked. How did he do that? And of course, after this person left, and Prabhupada went to his room, and he collapsed. He just had this determination, incredible determination, integrity, and just duty bound to preach, You know, he didn't want to disappoint this person, and this person may be able to do something for Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, this is Prabhupada. Shaktivesh avatar. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So you narrated that pastime of the woman. She was going to kill herself.
Mm-hmm.
On book distribution, you meet a lot of people and then you ask them these questions. You know, have you heard of stress, anxiety, suffering? And a lot of them, they'll admit, you know, I'm going through so much right now. And then after they take a book, they always say, thank you for being here. You know, it was the perfect time. So it just reminded me of that, how some people, they appreciate the Sankirtan devotees. Sankirtan devotees doing their thing.
Yeah, I was at a university many years ago, and this I asked a student, so how you doing? He said, I'm doing great, fantastic. And I said, well, that's great, that's nice, very good. Okay, so he showed him the books, and he gave a nice donation, took the books, and then before he left, he said, do you think this will help me through all the stress that I'm going through? I was like, hey, what is that? You just thought everything is great. So this is Maya. They think they're doing great. Prabhupada gave the example, just like someone goes into the hospital, and so this guy's got his leg up, he's got his arm up, and he's got a brace around his neck, and a friend comes in and says, well, how you doing? Yeah, doing all right. Yeah, okay. So this is Maya. This is illusion. They think everything is wonderful, everything is good, but no. No. When people are Krishna conscious, then everything is wonderful. So therefore we're trying to give this knowledge out to help people and be Krishna conscious. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, Hare Krishna. Vijaya Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Prabhu, thank you very much. Your most kind Dandavat Pranams. Do you mind reciting again the first sentence of the translation to text 2?
To text 2, okay. The first sentence is, demigods situated in the mode of goodness and great saints cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda.
Exactly. Thank you very much. You're most kind. Prabhu, it seems to me, and correct me if I am wrong, that if demigods and great saints hardly ever render pure devotional service to Krishna, it seems to me that common, ordinary living entities would not be there getting to it. So, like becoming pure devotees. But still, I remember that your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, did say that impossible is a word in the dictionary of a fool. So based on all of this, my exact question is, in this context, what is the meaning of Srila Prabhupada saying that impossible is a word in the dictionary of a fool? That is my question.
Well,
or in other words, is it possible for common, ordinary living entities to become pure devotees, if even demigods and great saints hardly ever do it?
well, by the mercy of Krishna, yes. As we hear throughout the Vedic literatures, Prabhupada's saying that anybody who takes to Krishna consciousness. Now, one thing is that this word, the saints and demigods. Demigods are as we've heard, they're sakama devotees. They have they want to serve Krishna, but they also have material desires. And saints doesn't just mean bhaktas, but that also means yogis And the Gyanis, because they're not engaged in material activities, so they're in some places are also described as saints because they're not absorbed in material life. They're absorbed in Shastra or Brahmajyoti. That's also not material. But bhaktas, if someone sincerely wants to be a bhakta, a devotee of Krishna, then Krishna helps in all ways. So it is possible. And therefore, Prabhupada, he emphasized the importance of bhakti yoga, because this is the nature of the soul. And if someone is determined and sincere and serious, then Krishna will help. And yes, there's so many nice devotees in our movement that I've seen, grow in wonderful ways, and seen them advance so much. And so many devotees, they're leaving their bodies in Vrindavan, in Mayapur. They're going back home. So it's happening. Not only can it happen, it's happening. It's happening. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Just a quick follow-up. When you said that if we become determined, then Krishna will help, it reminded me of the principle of Krishna. When you do 10 steps towards him, he does 100 towards you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. And Maitreya Prabhu is here. Maybe he has something to say, a question or a comment. I don't know.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Maitreya Prabhu. Maybe he's not there.
No, he's here, and he's on mute, but
Oh.
I don't know what.
We're not hearing you, Maitreya.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now we hear you.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So the spiritual master is asking us to. Prabhupada said, "If you just love Krishna, then I'm pleased. How can we please you in the best way? Just love Krishna." So the words and instructions of Srila Prabhupada can empower us to become pure devotees. So that's one thing that we have going for us. It's by the mercy of Guru one gets Krishna. There's so many verses in the Shastra like that. Guru Kripa Kripaya Pai Bhakti Lata Beat.
Yes.
Plants the seed of pure devotion in the heart of the disciple, and by following his instructions and trying to please him, that seed fructifies and produces the creeper of Bhakti Lata. And so it's not that we can just decide to become pure devotees. We placate, we fall at the feet of the pure devotee and beg for his mercy. And then thereby we get that seed and it can fructify and we can go back to Godhead. I want to make another comment. Yesterday the speaker said that Vitrasura went back to Godhead because he was killed by the Vajra that was made from the bones of the Dichi, empowered with the Narayana potency. I want to humbly disagree. Vitrasura was already a pure devotee, as evinced by the prayers that he offered. Going back to Godhead is not a real estate problem. It's a consciousness issue. You can't go back to Godhead unless you're a pure devotee. And so he went back to Godhead because he was a pure devotee. He could have been hit by a bus. He still would have gone back to Godhead.
Yes, good point.
If I may, also one just quick question. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that even a little advancement on this path protects one from the most dangerous type of fear. I've always wondered, how can a fear be dangerous? And does that mean that once we take one step on the path of bhakti, that we're relieved of the fear that our progressive march is guaranteed? Can you just say some things about that? Thank you.
Well, yeah, Prabhupada many times said that whatever we do in Krishna consciousness, if we can't continue on in this life, we start in our next life. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't say much more about that. But this is the statement that we progress from whatever point we come to in this life, and we start in our next life.
Jai, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. you.